So this one looks like it's going to be pretty interesting because it's got this rational function. So we're going to have to use the quotient rule. And then it's also, the rational function is substituted inside a square root function, so we'll need to use the chain rule as well. So first of all, one thing that I do is, for this square root function, I just remember that the derivative is equal to 1 over 2 times that square root function. That saves some time. It comes from saying that y is equal to x to the 1/2, and then taking the derivative of that would be a 1/2 x to the negative 1/2, and then negative exponent means that that belongs in the denominator, and you get back to this. But rather than having to do these extra steps each and every time I run into a square root, I just remember the derivative of square root is 1 over 2 times that square root. So that's where we begin. The derivative is going to be 1 over 2 times that square root. And then the chain rule says multiply that with the derivative of the inside function. And then for that, it's going to be, so now we're not dealing with the square root, we're just dealing with this inside function right here. So that's going to be the quotient rule. So take the derivative of the numerator and then leave the denominator left alone, minus, leave the numerator alone, and take the derivative of the denominator. And then the denominator is squared. Now we just need to do some algebra to clean this up. Well, let's see, we've got the derivative is equal to, so I want to be able to make one big fraction since it's the product of two fractions. 1 divided by a fraction means invert this fraction. So this can be inverted and moved to the top. So inverted, it would look like the square root of x squared plus 1 over x. The 2 would still stay in the denominator, because if I inverted it, it would be a 1/2, and that's essentially what I already have is a 1/2. And then this is also in the denominator. And then finally, this is also in the numerator. So you've got an x squared minus 2x squared. So an x squared minus 2x squared is negative x squared. And then a positive 1. And I need to continue because I've still got a compound fraction. So I need to clear this part of the fraction, that little x that's inside the square root. So multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of x. So now we've got the numerator has a square root of x squared plus 1 in it. It's got negative x squared plus 1 in parentheses, a 2, a square root of x, and an x squared plus 1 squared. And that about does it. These two can't cancel because that has a negative x squared. Leaving a radical on the denominator is perfectly fine. And actually, this is already factored form, so if we were going to be doing anything else with it, it's ready to go. So for example, if someone said, where's the derivative undefined? I can look right there and say, if x is negative or if x is 0. So leave it just like that.